Hey guys, in this tutorial we will be implementing retrofit and view binding and follow the MVVM structure. Okay, so let's get started. I know diagram like this can seem confusing, so let me outline the most important concept. Okay, so notice that each component depends only on the component one level below it. This is a very important concept to understand when trying to optimize your code structure. The repository is acting as a hub for incoming and outgoing data. The view model is monitoring the repository for changes in the dataset and then update the UI accordingly. As ViewModel class is described perfectly by its name, so it's a model for a view. It can tell other component to retrieve data, for example here from repository, and it can handle incoming request from a user to modify the data. For example, a user adding a new element to a recycler view full of list items. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. I've already created the project. Now let's add the libraries for retrofit and enable build feature for view binding. So we have added library successfully. Now go to the activity main and we will add RecyclerView and a progress bar. So view binding generates a binding object for every layout in your module. Here our XML layout name is activity main. So our binding object will be activity main binding. Let's say if our activity name is like activity awesome. So our binding object name will be activity awesome binding. We will follow this structure throughout the project. Binding object contain one property of every view with an ID in the layout with the correct type and null safety. So here we have added activity main binding object and passed the view into set content view. Now let's create a package name view and create a class album view. It will be our model class. Okay. So for this, go to the Google and search for JSON placeholder and go to the album section. Here you can see user ID, ID and title. We will use these in our model class. User ID, ID and title. Now create getter and setter for it and a constructor. So now create a package name adapter and create an adapter for RecyclerView. Now let's create an XML layout for our album items view holder. Let's inflate our view holder. Oops, here is a mistake, as our layout name is album views. So our binding view object will be album view binding. So let's correct it. Here let's remove this com.example.data binding. So we have completed our implementation of RecyclerView. Now we will create a retrofit instance. For this we require a base URL, and we will get that URL from JSON placeholder website. It's a website for fake REST API. So we will simply just copy this URL and paste it in our retrofit instance class. So first we will create a package named network, and then create our retrofit instance class, and here we will paste that base URL. So here we have completed our network class. Now create a package named ViewModel and create a class inside it naming album view model. Okay, now extend it with view holder, that is the base class, and here we will use mutable live data. Actually, mutable live data is a subclass of live data, and the live data object is an observable data holder class. It's responsible for holding the data that's displayed in the view. But it's not just any old data holder. The data is observable, meaning that the data is actively being watched for changes. If a change occurs, the view is updated automatically. So now let's create another package and naming repository, and create a album repo.